Welcome in. Thanks for joining us for the WHHI Daily News, where we strive to bring you more Lowcountry news more often. I'm Bob Stevens. Eagles are the big story from this past weekend, and it'll also roll into this week. The Hilton Head Island Eagle Cam Eagles, Gracie and George, have hatched their first of two pips over the weekend. The second should come by midweek. The tiny firstborn cracked its shell Friday and came completely out, though still often covered by one of her parents, by Saturday night. Gracie brought a fish to tear up to start feeding the young eaglet. It'll be about 5 weeks before the pip will be able to tear up food on its own. You can watch all the activity and maybe catch that second hatching sometime in the middle of the week at WHHIlandtrust.org. Fly, Eagles, fly. One of the Hilton Head Beach's attractions is the ability to walk your dogs on the shoreline. It's going to be one section of the beaches, though, that'll have to be closed off to dog walking during the renourishment of the beaches later this summer. Residents and visitors will not be allowed to frolic with their pups at Fish Hall Beach, as the Fish and Wildlife Service nationally has made protecting some shorebird species and loggerhead turtles a priority for permitting the beach renourishment. The restricted area will run from Fish Hall Beach Park down to Fish Hall Creek. Town staffers were able to negotiate a smaller area than was originally proposed by the federal agency. The town will provide significant signage to warn dog walkers later on this summer. There is still more than a year before we have to get interested in the race for governor to succeed term-limited Henry McMaster, but we've already seen Lowcountry Congresswoman Nancy Mace start to travel around the state to gauge voter interest, and former state treasurer and reality TV star Thomas Ravenel has taken it a step further, posting on social media that he's going to run for governor, saying that, quote, "None of the lightweights currently in the race are going to stop me. I have a message that's going to change not just South Carolina, but the entire country." He did not elaborate on that message, except to say that income tax rates are too high, and he doesn't like taxes on cars or boats either. Ravenel is now 62. He was elected state treasurer back in 2006, but then spent 10 months in prison for pleading guilty to buying cocaine for himself and friends. He returned, of course, as a star in the first 5 seasons of Bravo's Southern Charm. Now, much of the current political back and forth in Washington, D.C. is confusing, but try to understand, but this issue might be easy because it's going to affect a lot of us. Among President Trump's many executive orders the last couple of weeks is a hiring freeze in federal agencies. Many of the orders will expire once the new leaders of those agencies submit the plans on how staffing is going to be done, except the IRS. The hiring freeze there will last until the Treasury Secretary decides it is in the national interest to lift it. And with many expected retirements from employees, there will likely be a lot fewer IRS agents to process returns and issue refunds. So, according to the State Department of Revenue, if you're expecting a refund, you might want to get that return filed as soon as possible and do it electronically. And we've got one amazing sports story to share with you. Congratulations to the May River High wrestling team for winning the school's first state wrestling championship over the weekend. How they did it is even more remarkable than they did it at all. The Sharks trailed Lawrence 35-11 with just 5 matches left. But they swept all 5 to win the championship 36-35. Coach Ashley Powell remembers the days when guys had to be recruited out of the hallways to join the team. After finals trips in 21 and 22, they are now state champs. For more details on these and other Lowcountry news, we invite you to visit the sources listed on your screen. Still to come, plenty more on the WHHI Daily News. A couple of events from over the weekend, including a Super Bowl party that you missed it, but you didn't miss it. Stay with us for that. But coming up next, we're going to talk with Weston Newton, state representative from Bluffton, about a special bill he's trying to push through the state legislature that will involve any of us who drink and any of us who serve drinks. Stay with us.